Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, classmates. So for today's report, we will talking about the tax system and the Philippines development experience. So first, we will talk about the tax system in the Philippines. We will define now the tax or the taxation. So what is tax? Tax is a compulsory financial charge or some other type of levy imposed on a taxpayer or an individual or legal entity by governmental spending various public expenditures. So, it says here that the tax is compulsory, meaning it is obligation for the taxpayers to pay it, and it is required. Hindi mo siya pwedeng hindi bayaran because it is punishable kung hindi ka magbabayad ng tax. So, it is required and you are obliged to pay the taxes. So, we have three types of the taxes. So, first is the income tax or the taxes on income. And second is the taxes on properties. And lastly is the taxes on goods and services. So, first is the income tax or the taxes on income. So, these taxes na binabayaran natin, it is based on our earnings. Kung ilan yung earnings na nagigain mo or kinikita mo for a month or for a year, depende doon kung ilang tax or kung gaano kalaki yung tax na ibibigay mo. And next is the taxes on properties. For example, ito naman yung taxes na binabayaran mo pag meron kang properties, maraming properties, like for example, houses and establishments na pagmamay-ari mo and lote na sayo. And these things na pagmamay-ari mo, merong tax. Lahat ito ay may tax at kailangan mo yung bayaran. So next is the taxes on goods and services. So, ito naman yung, for example, you are a businessman and you are providing services and you are selling goods. So, these things na ginagawa mo is meron siyang taxes. So, this is the last type of taxes na binabayaran mostly ng mga taxpayers. So, next is alamin naman natin kung saan ginagamit yung mga nakokolektang tax mula sa atin ng gobyerno. So, the funds that has been collected goes to the government, particularly to the BIR. Sila yung agency na nagko-collect ng taxes mula sa atin. And these taxes na nakokolekta ng gobyerno ay ginagamit for building public properties and for the services na kinakailangan ng mamamayan dito sa Pilipinas. So, for example, na ginagamitan ng taxes, yung funds na nakokolekta mula sa tax is building of roads and libraries and parks or kahit saan pa man na mga establishments na for public use. I'll share to you naman the history or the origin kung saan nga ba nag-start yung tax or when was the tax started in our country. So, before in pre-colonial period, we have no government. We have no national government. Ang meron lang tayo noon is the barangays. And it was ruled by a pinuno or a leader that was called Idatu or Raha or Raja. And itong pinunong ito, siya lang ang namumuno sa barangays noon. And itong pinunong ito is protected gamit ang taxes na mula sa mga tao noon. So, noon pa man, meron ng taxes, it was existing na. So, that taxes, kung ngayon, yung taxes natin is used for mamamayan ng Pilipinas and it is for the services na kailangan ng mga tao noon, ang tax ay ginagamit upang maging proteksyon ng kanilang pinuno na tinatawag na datu. So that is the brief history or the brief origin kung saan nga ba nag-start yung taxation dito sa Pilipinas. So next is why this tax system is part of our understanding in the grand narrative of the Philippine history. So why it is important yung tax system na understanding the Philippine history. So it is part and it's important kasi ang tax is part na siya ng ating history kasi pinapractice naman na yung pagbabayad ng tax noon pa man. Even it was practiced by ancient Filipinos before in the pre-colonial period, and until now ginagawa pa rin natin yun. So it is part na ng ating bansa, ng ating kultura. So it is also important kasi ito yung nagpapaganda ng ating bansa and ng ating ekonomiya, at ito din yung nagpo-provide ng mga pangangailangan ng mamamayang Pilipino. And also, practicing paying taxes, napapakita din nito yung ating pagmamahal sa ating bansa at pagkakaisa, at napapanatili din nito yung ating solidarity and how do we support our government. So that is why important and part ng ating Philippine history ang taxes. So for further informations and to broaden your understanding sa aming topic, my group mates will discuss to you it so you will understand it more.
United States goes back to the Civil War when two called Abraham Lincoln and into law the nation first tax on persons to help pay for Union war effort. Then personal income tax, income of residents. The Philippines tax progressively 37% resident citizens are taxed on all their net income derived from stars within and without the Philippines. What is the IRS tax bracket for 2019? For the tax year 2019, the top rate is 37% for individual single taxpayer with income greater than 510,300, then 612,350 for married filing jointly. The other raters are 37% for income over total 204,100, then 402,200 for married couples filing jointly. How much is the total tax collection of BIRA? In 2019, the BIRA announced on Friday, February 1, its collection goal for 2019 is 2.33 pesos trillion, into higher than last year. 2.044 pesos trillion target the agency collection 1 pesos. Income of residents in Philippines. In the tax progressively up to 32% residents citizens are taxed on all their nets. Income derived from source within had without the Philippines. Passive income including dividends and interest is subject to tax at 75% of 3. Increase standard deduction. New tax law nearly doubles the standard deduction amount single taxpayer. See their respondent standard deduction jump from 600,350 for 2017 tax to 12,200 for 2019 tax. The one you file 2020, married couple filing jointly see an increase from 12,200 to 24,400 for 2019.
My name is Nason P. Ramos. So for today, I'm going to discuss to you what is tax system in our current days. So first, what is tax system? According to International Encyclopedia of the Social and Behavioral Sciences of 2001, tax system encourage firms to use debt rather than equity finance, and more generally to economize on dividend payments to shareholders. So we proceed to the personal income tax. Income of the resident in the Philippines is taxed progressively up to 32%. Resident citizens are taxed on all their net income derived from their sources within or without the Philippines. For non-residents, whether on individual or not in the Philippines, is taxable only on the income derived from their sources within in the Philippines. So we proceed to the tax base for the residents and foreign companies. A foreign corporation that is duly licensed to engage in the trades or business within the Philippines is referred to as a resident foreign corporation. So the Philippines adopt the United Nations Model Convention together with the OECD model to identify the permanent establishment. So as all we know, at this year we're facing the pandemic. So due to the COVID-19 crisis, the filing of the annual income tax return, or as we call it as AITR, and the payments of the corresponding taxes due thereon is extended. So that is our tax system in our current days. That's all. Once again, my name is Nelson P. Ramos.